Hello again, YouTube. Today I'm going to do a quick tool review on this, the ball joint separator from Harbor Freight. I picked this up a couple days ago. It was on sale plus a coupon for about 18 bucks, so not exactly sure how much to expect out of it. Looks like it comes in two pieces. There's the main tool plus the bolt that threads into this end, and that's what you tighten to separate the ball joint on the business end. It also has this pin, this removable pin at the pivot point, and the pin has a little ball in it right there that holds it in place. You can remove the pin and then move it up and use the other pivot point. What that allows you to do is have a larger clearance depending upon what size ball joint you are removing. Then on the business end are the jaws. This forked side sits under the bottom of the ball joint between the boot and the metal around it. And then this end sits on top of the end of the bolt of the ball joint, and as the tool is compressed, it pushes the ball joint down through the hole. So let's take it over to the car and give it a try. So here we are at the right front wheel of my 94 Volkswagen Jetta, and I want to remove the ball joint here. I've already got the axle somewhat pulled away so that I could remove the nut here on top of the ball joint. But now the jaws here of the tool don't quite fit around the bottom of the ball joint. The boot is too fat, and the bottom of the ball joint is just too fat to get all the way around it. I think I can get under it enough, but it does mean I'm going to have to tip the tool up somewhat like that. So I've removed the pin here and moved it up to the wider position. So now I've got wider jaws, and I think that's the way I'm going to do it. Now there's three things about the operation of this that I'd like to point out that I think I've figured out and I've learned from others. One is, obviously there's not a big investment in this tool, so it's not a super high quality tool, but it should be sufficient. And one is, this tool is really not meant to be used with an air tool. So don't use your air ratchet, the impact gun on this bolt to drive this thing out of here. You're going to really shorten the life of the tool, and you'll likely strip the threads here on the tool, or break something, or hurt yourself, I don't know. So you can get plenty of leverage using a hand wrench on the bolt. Second is, there may be a considerable amount of friction on the bolt and on the threads, so definitely lubricate it. A little bit of oil, or even a lot of oil on those threads, or grease, but get that thing well lubricated so you're not going to run into a friction problem and have that work against you. And the third point is, I see people using this kind of tool. They'll put it on here, they'll get it now good and tight, and they'll just keep on cranking away on the bolt and cranking until it's tighter and tighter and tighter until finally the thing goes bang, and sometimes flies across the room. And that's not a real safe way to do it, and you're overstressing the tool. So I think the proper way to do it, or a safer way to do it, is to put the tool in place. I think I've got it there where I want it. Now I'm going to use a wrench, or in my case a socket. I found that, what is this? This is a 20 millimeter socket. It's kind of close, but a 3/4 inch socket was even better, so I'm going to use that. Safety glasses are going on. Start tightening this up until we get some tension on the joint. I'm not going to go nuts. Just going to apply some good tension on there. If it pops loose, great. If not, that's more of what I expect. So you can see I'm choking up on this ratchet, so I'm not putting a lot of torque on it. I could keep on going till that thing pops, but I'm not going to. So this is the third piece of advice. Now that you've got tension on that thing, hopefully we're going to now be able to get it loose the traditional way. The traditional way is to use a big hammer and strike right there on that part of the ball joint, or the part that the ball joint goes through. Yeah. you'll see professional mechanics, that is the preferred method because it's fast and effective. They'll just hit that thing and they'll wail on it really hard and it'll fall right out. So now hopefully with a little bit of pressure now provided by this tool, this method should be more effective. Alright, let's give it a few more turns. There we go. I think a combination of that pressure and the fact that I induced a shock with my hammer made it come loose. Popped it right out of there easily with very little violence. You can see now my ball joint is loose and separated from the steering knuckle here. So there you have it, the ball joint separator tool from Harbor Freight. That's the first time I used it, and it did exactly what I needed it to do. Just remember the 3 things that I pointed out. 1, make sure you lubricate the threads to minimize friction on the bolt. 2, don't use an impact gun to drive the bolt. Hand tools are more than sufficient. And 3, don't crank it down until the ball joint finally pops out necessarily. Go ahead and use the tool in conjunction with the traditional method for getting out a ball joint, and that is to put pressure on it with the tool, and then use a large hammer on the steering knuckle where the ball joint goes through to induce a shock, and the combination of the two will make it pop out easily. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.